In our previous episode, we saw how Ebenezer McIntosh emerged as a gang leader in the South End of Boston for his role in the violent spectacle known as Pope's Day. But budding revolutionaries had designs on him too, and soon elevated him to widespread fame, or infamy to others. When the 1764 riot known as Pope's Day ended, Ebenezer McIntosh's South End gang had triumphed, but a child had been killed and he'd been arrested. But he was soon released from custody thanks to the efforts of the Loyal Nine. This political club included some of the most prominent radicals in town, who saw in McIntosh the kind of folk hero who could draw headlines for his actions, yet someone they could also redirect toward more important goals. And the most important of those was fighting the Stamp Act. The Loyal Nine had denounced the act as an infringement on colonial liberties, and they were determined to act against it before it was implemented. Conveniently, McIntosh was on his way to debtor's prison at this time, so the Loyal Nine arranged for the warrant not to be executed, as long as the shoemaker worked against the Stamp Act. On August 14th, McIntosh hung effigies of British politicians and the new Stamp Commissioner Andrew Oliver on the Liberty Tree, a symbol of radical anti-British politics. From there, McIntosh led a mob of thousands to the waterfront, where they destroyed a brick building said to be a stamp office, and then went to Oliver's own house, which they ransacked before burning him in effigy. Oliver soon resigned as Stamp Commissioner. The event was a rousing success, but McIntosh wasn't done. Almost 2 weeks later, he led another mob to loot the houses of royal officials and vandalize the mansion of Lieutenant Governor Thomas Hutchinson, also stealing artwork, jewels, manuscripts, and money. But this time, the shoemaker had gone too far. McIntosh was denounced in the press, and radical patriots distanced themselves from him. They did get him to arrange a truce with his rivals on Pope's Day, but his celebrity had peaked. And when the new radical group called the Sons of Liberty emerged, they had little use for a violent gang leader with no real political loyalties. They sidelined him, and he eventually lost his job as sealer of leather and ended up in a debtor's prison. His Pope's Day riot also ended in 1775, and eventually history mostly forgot McIntosh too, despite the key role he had played in the Stamp Act riots. For more on revolutionaries both familiar and obscure, check out my book, Boston 1776, A Rogue Tour of Revolution City, or repost this video and visit my website to sign up for my newsletter. For Boston was a hotbed of radical patriots of all kinds, and proof there was no other place like it, then or now.